Welcome back to the channel.
And a new video. That was quite, we thought we'd get Chris to start the video for once. He got halfway there, maybe in the future. Straight back on the Volvo. You know how we left it in the last video, guys. Very, very difficult to get the bits, but so many of you put in the comments, Rob, try the Volvo Saab breakers. And we did, and they are absolutely fantastic and lovely people, Chris, right?
Yeah, we got one of their flyers on the wall.
We have got one of their flyers on the wall. I will show that later. And that is a little bit of a sneak peek. You can all see that the V60 is now in the workshop as well. So really, really want to crack on. Where we got quite a few bits from Volvo, you can see that chassis leg is straight. That one, we believe, could possibly be over a little bit, but the cap is definitely bent over, mate, right? But we've got a nice new cap for it.
We have.
Got quite a few other little bits for it, and this is going to be our first car being pulled on the new Jig.
That's it.
Quite excited about this.
Yep.
It's going to be a bit of setting up because we haven't done it before, but it is all quite self-explanatory, and of course it's very similar to the old one. It's just more modern, isn't it? So
yep.
I'm going to leave you in Chris's capable hands, and I am just dropping off the, I can say it, can't I? Because
yep.
the Audi TT's on the back of the truck, just about to drop that at the paint shop. So
yep.
We'll leave it with you, mate.
So hopefully the first of many cars to go up on the new ramp. So setting up them new wheel stands, up on the ramp, back down onto the wheel stands, and for the first time being able to remove those seal covers while it's up on the lift, which is lovely. Back down a little bit with the lift, and you can see he's actually putting those seal clamps onto the Jig, going round there, tightening them all up. Just go round and double check them after you've tightened them up, just to make sure they're all 100%, because you're going to be pulling against the car and you don't want it slipping or sliding out of those clamps. Looks like he's got it all done there. Let's lower it down to the perfect height.
We got it on there, guys, and it is all clamped up, as you can see there. Seal clamps on the seal there and on the back. And still got the pads on there, so you put it up on the pads.
Yeah, I just slotted them on there out of the way, Rob.
Yeah. Oh right, okay.
Just so they're not kicking about on the floor. That was all.
But I did explain it in the time lapse anyway about the wheel boxes.
Yeah, you should be cool. I moved the position of the camera tripod to try and capture as much of it. Just if anyone's interested, really.
Yeah. All right, mate. Lovely. And already got it all set up. Got the chain on there, ready to give it a little pull. So this is definitely toast. We've got a new one of these, but you think this is definitely over a little bit.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we can capture quite a bit of that. And the chain's going that way, and this is a lot safer than the old one. So fingers crossed I can stand right here and move around and capture a bit of it.
Yeah, should be able to.
Are you pretty much ready to go, or do you want me to?
Taking a bit of slack up. Going.
Yeah, that was actually over quite a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's actually come up a bit, so I'm going to let that back off.
Yeah.
Reposition, and we cut back in.
All right, mate. Pull number 2.
Is the camera catching that, Rob?
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, Chris.
I've heard it creak.
That new dozer's quiet, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And there's no slop in it either, is there?
No.
Oh, we used to have to pull it halfway just to get rid of the slop.
I might have to take your mic off. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. It's not boring.
Yeah. Nice and soft. Guys, what I will say, just before anyone does comment on this particular part, that part Chris was actually hitting there with a club hammer is the part that we're replacing. No, so I was just behind it, taking the crease out.
Yeah, yeah, and be stressing it as well, really.
So that when the chain gets released, it doesn't go back as far as it was, or doesn't go back, it goes back to where it should be.
I'm going to need you to hold the other hand. You might want to cut that off.
Yep.
This is going to be like
just after that one pull, guys, I'm going to include the pictures of what that looked like now. And look at it, absolutely perfectly straight. So like we said, this part is designed to be changed. So this is just the only part that we're saving. So far, so good. I'm just going to pop out and grab Chris a new bottle of argon because that's running low. And while I'm doing that, he's actually going to film some, just trying to get this, well, actually getting this all completely straight. I've just took a picture of this piece here. And as you can see, that is bananaed as well. So he's going to be doing something with that. And then this top piece, you can see the top bolt hole has actually popped up. That's quite an easy job for him. That's just going to want tapping down. But we'll leave you with Chris to get that straight while I whip out and get a bottle of gas.
Straight onto the chassis leg, straightening up those little tiny kinks and creases just to take the tension actually out of that panel where it has been bent round beforehand. Straight in with a spot weld drill bit. A lot of you do ask where you get these, so you can get them from eBay, Amazon or a machine shop. There is only a few spot welds in there. He's drilled them out, little bit of chiseling around the outside and out it comes. Little bit of cleaning up to do. Chris is going to unpick that second-hand bit of chassis leg that we got, guys, and he just said to me, I'm only going to be basing up that repair section in the end of the chassis. So whip round to Jerry's, I think some of you have seen that before, where he does the colour match cans. So I've given him the reg, rung him up, and he's knocking me up a can of spray now. So we'll head round there, get that, and that will be enough. Obviously the car's going to need paint, but Chris can base it up and do all of that paint work once that repair's done. So let's get round there and get that and leave him to get the second-hand one unpicked. And onto the new chassis leg. You can see there's very, very minimal amount of spot welds just holding this little extension piece in, and after drilling them out, little bit of hammer and chiseling, getting it down on the floor so he can grip it with his foot, little bit more chiseling, and then that will just pop out and that is ready to go on our car.
Well mate, you moved on now.
Yeah, pretty straightforward really, Rob. You can tell from the bit of time lapse how quick it came apart really. So not many spot welds at all. And I've zipped that on there with 3 self drillers just to hold it in place. And put this front crash bar on and it's all bolted up quite nicely. So I'm not going to do any more really other than get that welded on there and take it back apart, and once we've got the front panel we can do any fine tuning. But
yeah, might be some good news on that front panel in a minute. Good. Just waiting to hear back.
Did you, I don't know if you've mentioned, you took a couple of photos, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they're all inserted.
You've put those in, have you?
Yeah.
So that's
just
done. Yeah.
Showing how bad that was, and now it's straight. One thing we did notice, we bought this bumper bar off of eBay. It was actually very expensive. I think I paid 90 quid for it.
And it's a bit damaged.
It's not smashed up, it's usable, but it is like, that shouldn't be there. That shouldn't be that far pushed in. So
shame, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of unnecessary work there, just pulling the edges out. They have got a weird shape, and I can show you on the old one, but you've already thrown it in the skip, I think. Yeah. No, you haven't, it's there.
Yeah. Oh, I'll put it up there.
Yeah, so you can see it is quite deformed anyway, and that's how they are. That's the undamaged end, and that as well I showed.
Oh, yep.
Because
that's straightened up so easy. I did time lapse that bit, but it straightened up really easy. But we're noticing, aren't we, more and more manufacturers doing this with these chassis repair sections.
Yeah, and how much easier is it?
It's lovely, isn't it?
But you did say when we was pulling this, it's very, very easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not like the old Volvos in the old days, which were rock hard.
Yeah, they was.
Very soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, it's actually turning out to be a lovely little job to do, isn't it?
Yeah, get really quick from that point of view.
I've got that can of paint. I think I've put that down on the bench there, guys, so colour match. So Chris will just blow that in.
I have got to take it all back apart again now.
Yeah.
Which I can do that on time lapse if you like. Weld through primer in there, and then put it all back on, weld it
up.
And it'll be prepped and painted. So, but that was just like the mock up to see if that chassis was sitting in the right place.
And it looks absolutely bang on. You can see now miles away that is now straight, and it was out that far before, wasn't it? So, and of course this side looks absolutely perfect. So we'll let you crack on with that welding, mate. I'm going to go outside and make a start on something else.
New one in there, all the spot welds. There is of course primer underneath that, weld through primer. Few spot welds around the outside, bit of grinding just to take the tops off, get it all nice and smooth, and then straight on with a bit of green Scotch-Brite, get that all completely flatted off, ready for a bit of primer and some paint. Well, I reckon that's the worst of the damage done. The chassis is repaired, the airbags are in. I think we're over the hard line now. That bonnet, yeah. Chris is going to have a go at that bonnet. Are you going to be having a go at that in this video? I think you will, wouldn't you? Probably.
We need to know either way if it's going to be savable or not.
Definitely, so that we can get one. So, a bit of an update. Chris has got that all in primer, all welded up, and that is pretty much ready now for some paint. So, he'll be moving on with that very shortly. Little bit of an update again. Volkswagen Saab breakers said as soon as they get another one in, they'll let us know. They've got another one in. We've just purchased the front panel, rad carrier and some air ducts. So the only thing we are looking for this car now is a headlight. I'm going to chase Eddie up in a minute. And of course, possibly that bonnet. But really, really looking good. Very difficult to get the parts for, and very difficult to get them at a reasonable price. Honestly, the bits for this car are very, very expensive, and what's the right word? Few and far between. I was trying to spit that out there. And we had the same with the other Volvo, the XC60, buying the parts for that. It's all new to us. We've not done a Volvo on the channel before, and years and years ago, like Chris said earlier in the video, he did some older ones, but the bits was available then. So anyway, we're going to leave him crack on and get that chassis leg all painted, and then hopefully the other bits arrive and we can start having a play. Well, Chris can start having a play with that bonnet. Let's just pull it down and remind you what that bonnet does look like. But unless you want to buy another one that's got damage on it for 400 quid, we're going to have a go at it. Let's let him carry on. There we go, guys. Chassis completely repaired, in colour, all painted. And I think you would agree, you're never going to tell that that's actually been done. Like I said, we have got a little bit of work left to do on this bumper bar. I think only a little bit of bashing around, and that needs painting as well. But all of that is actually done. Now on to the challenge. I am just going out to pick up a new project. Well, have a look at one. And Chris is going to have a play with this bonnet. This is not him repairing it. This is to establish whether you can repair it. Right. We've got the nice new aluminium dent station. We've got all of the tools, so he is going to give it a go. Mate, I've got every faith in you, but I reckon that's probably the worst one that we've ever asked you to repair, but you can only have a go, can't you? Yeah. We're going to leave Chris with that and see how he gets on. I'm sure he'll try and film a little bit of it, but yeah, I'll put it on time-lapse. Time-lapse. There's going to be a lot of bashing around and banging, but let's see how he gets on with it. I thought that we set Chris a bit of a challenge here. We've never done a bonnet that bad. I'm sure Chris has, but we've never done one on the channel, and it is quite bad on the edge there. But straight away, he knows what tools to get out. He's had a look, and he is getting straight on with it. So there he's rubbed off all of the paint. In with a hammer and a little stand to get that about right, and then straight in with the new alley dent station, working his magic on that bonnet. And you'll see in a minute how it come out. But just to say, we're happy with it. So actually the next morning, guys, and it did get quite late, but luckily all of those new parts have just arrived for it. And you look like you cracked it, mate. You've repaired that.
I didn't go any further because obviously I didn't have the front panel. Really, we need to now get the front panel, wing, etc. all on and get that fitting perfectly. But it's I say it all the time, don't I? But it's sort of 90% there.
Yeah. Well,
you
it
know.
gets it latched up with that front panel, doesn't it?
That's right. But you know, you really need bumper and front panel and everything else on to get this line.
Yeah.
And the headlight. So, but yeah. So
You got that done, and I had a bit of a disaster.
yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame, but you don't know, do you?
But really, you should put that bit you sent me in the video.
Good idea.
And
Good idea, yeah.
just because I think you left here yesterday. You done a cutting, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you left to go and look at that car.
Basildon, yeah.
And took the truck with you.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
but it just kind of highlights, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That one, you've got to go and look at stuff, but two, how it eats into your time.
Yeah.
People often comment, don't they, about you're off out and about. But,
Oh, yeah, what are you doing, yeah.
but what was that, 3 hours? Probably
a little bit more than that,
Probably
yeah.
a bit more than that.
Yeah.
Really.
And 50 quid in diesel.
Which and toll crossing.
Yeah. Oh,
which
yeah, and that,
which is
yeah.
wasted, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But that's because people don't describe the cars, and it's. I know we get a lot of comments, people saying Copart don't describe the cars, but
I
this
don't
was a
think anyone does,
private
yeah.
seller
Yeah.
who you spoke to on the phone, and I overheard you speaking to him, didn't I? And he forgot to mention half the
everything.
damage.
Yeah.
So,
Let's actually include that, and then I'll let you get back to what you're doing, and I'll get that front panel and everything for
definitely,
you,
yeah.
so that you can continue on with that. But so far, so good, and that is so nice to see, because I know we do the numbers at the end, but I've mentioned it several times. It's £400 for a second-hand bonnet.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
And it's got damage on it. So
you know, and really, if it takes 2 days to repair, you know, you've got to repair it, haven't you? Because those £400 second-hand bonnets will always have a few marks on them.
That's right.
That you've got to put time into.
that's right, yeah.
So, yeah.
At least we know where we're at. Anyway, let's carry on and I'm going to include that little bit of video and then continue on, get this front panel fitted. I know the bar's got to come off to get it on. Let's do it. Open the door. Water. Door. Door.
So a bit of a mess up here. I'll mention it later. I took the front bumper bar off there, but there was no need. So straight back on, and believe it or not, in that blinker time, that front panel is actually fitted. The bonnet latches are fitted, and it is ready. It's there to go. There's no more you can do to it. I did just swap these bonnet latches for our originals, but we're all done.
It's Friday. And the first time in a long time, we are actually finishing early today. We've both got things to do, and Chris has got to prep something ready for something upcoming. But the front panel bolted in perfect, but I always admit my mistakes. I said that bumper bar's got to come off. I undone all the bolts, pulled it off, thinking that these brackets, see these little metal brackets? I thought they went behind there, but they don't. No. They clip on the back and then have a couple of nuts.
Come off the paint anyway.
Exactly. So I've temporarily just put a couple of bolts in there, but all went back on its original bolts.
Nice.
I've only got one in there, but you can see the hole in there, guys. Absolutely perfect. Everything's lined up and gone back where it should. So, mate, overall,
we shut the
it's back straight where it should be.
Yeah, a little bit of tweaking there, but we ain't a million miles out, Rob.
To be honest, where it was hit, it's probably splayed that out a little bit.
Could have done.
Yeah.
Till we get the other wing on and the headlights in, but I'm quite happy with that so far.
Yeah, mate, definitely. And the bonnet as well, we just shut that down. It does pop very, very nicely as well, which is always a plus.
Oh, I just see there's a tiny little mark there.
Another dent.
A little ding there. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it opens lovely, doesn't it? Sorry again, guys, quite late in the day. Chris hasn't got his mic on, but this is unfortunately going to be the end of today's video on the Volvo.
Yeah.
But just waiting for the last couple of tiny bits to come in,
And I guess we'll be starting this video by sending it up to the paint shop with a bit of luck.
Success with a new Autobench.
Oh yeah, new Autobench.
So that's the
fantastic.
First,
yeah,
repair using the bench, isn't it?
it is. You set that up. Was it quicker than using the Celette? I mean, it was your first time, so
it probably is quicker.
yeah.
The advantages are you can get all the way around the car without having to move. I think we've already mentioned haven't we? You don't have to move. The other bench is classed as a mobile bench.
And then posts ain't in the way.
No, but see, for that kind of bench you do need to have a lift to load it. With this kind of bench, it incorporates a lift as well.
Yeah.
Which, as we showed in the last video with the TT, we just used that purely as a lift.
Yeah.
So for us, with our kind of, we've not got a massive space here to work in, have we?
No.
It optimises that space the best, I think. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, well pleased.
Well done on that bonnet, mate, again. And guys, hope you enjoyed this video as usual. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Follow us on Instagram for the little sneak peeks at Salvage Rebuilds. Follow Chris while he's digging holes and going on holiday and wearing trousers up to his chest at Salvage Rebuilds Chris. And just to add, yes, we have got Twitters, Salvage Rebuilds UK, and I think the handle of it is Rob198000. Also, TikTok. A lot of people, I have to put this in the next few videos because a lot of people said, I see there was a scam Twitter. Is that a spam TikTok? No, it is us just testing it out, really. We haven't really used it, but there's a few on there. Like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you all very, very soon in the next one.